Shortly after sending the bloated piece of bubblegum Dodoria back to the trash bin and hiding one of the Dragon Balls to make sure Frieza has no way to summon the dragon, Vegeta believes he has confirmed the position of the last Dragon Ball and flies off to obtain it. Off in Filler Land, Goku is continuing his conversation with King Kai and the Z homies as he gets them up to speed with Vegeta being confirmed to be on Namek. As well as, to make matters worse, there's someone else on the planet strong enough to make him seem like light work. King Kai has a bad feeling that he knows who it is, but since this planet runs on Spectrum internet and has absolutely trash Wi-Fi, he has to walk to just the right spot for his connection to stabilize and confirm his position. Unfortunately, his predictions were correct, and he informs them all that the other force on the planet is indeed the detestable Lord Frieza, and that Goku needs to dead any thoughts he has of fighting this menace immediately. King Kai tells Goku that it isn't only for his sake either. He tells Goku that if he pokes the hornet's nest and pisses Frieza off, it's possible for the entire universe to catch a fade, and he is not trying to be anywhere on that list. While the rest of the crew is taking dumps in their training gis, Piccolo gets on FaceTime and tells Goku that the rest of these fellas are bitch made and to continue putting in work. Between himself, Goku, Krillin, and Gohan, he feels they should be able to handle pretty much anything out there. King Kai cut the line shortly after this, and Goku returned to his rapidly increasing gravity training in preparation for war. Piccolo was so wrong for what he did, man. Not only did he disrespect King Kai while using the man's own internet connection to relay his message, but he completely hoed Tien, Chiaotzu, Yamcha, totally leaving them out of the equation when it came to stopping the upcoming threat. And worst of all, them boys ain't say a damn thing about it. They knew in their heart that their days as part of the main cast was over, and it was slowly time to get used to these 30-second slots in the background, with an occasional moment as comic relief if they're lucky. To be honest, this is what their training on King Kai's planet was really about, and why he had these boys cracking jokes the moment they got there. Man knew that this was the best they could hope for at this point in the series. Absolutely tragic. Following these antics, we return to Namek and follow Zarbon as he mentally curses out the elder Namek Mori for destroying their scouters in the earlier skirmish. Before he continued the tirade, Zarbon is immediately forced back as his aura collides with none other than the prince, and the two bounce off one another. As you may have guessed of Namek Vegeta, the man immediately begins talking spicy to Zarbon, telling him about how he blew the pink BBW's back out and sent him packing, and it's just about Zarbon's turn to get the same treatment. Zarbon calls Cap, telling Vegeta that he knows he's packing a shrimp and there's no way he could have got up in Doria's cheeks like that. But Vegeta simply laughs and tells him that he'll just have to learn the hard way. About ready to finish the foreplay, Vegeta tells Zarbon that Dodoria spilt the beans on Frieza's fear of the Saiyans, and thus concludes that he must have Frieza shook as well. Add 1 to the Cap counter, please. Zarbon giggles to himself and waves this off quickly, telling Vegeta that Frieza was a bit worried about what the Saiyans may be able to accomplish together, but a single monkey alone rolling up on his door wasn't something that has him sweating in the slightest. Deciding he better stop before he completely loses this roast session, Vegeta starts to fight by making his way behind Zarbon so he can give him a quick glimpse of that Dodoria special. Zarbon senses the encroaching danger to his manhood and throws a punch at Vegeta, who simply catches it, smiles, and throws dude across the open skies like a McDonald's napkin in traffic. Zarbon decides that he needs to gain some distance because he is not entirely sure what type of timing Vegeta is on, and begins gripping his arm to fire off a zest beam at Vegeta in an effort to end the fight early. Vegeta sees Zarbon's load coming, but instead of dodging it, he decides to take it to the chest and swat it directly with his hand. When the beam lands, it sets off an absolutely insane explosion, leaving Zarbon to admit that he's impressed with Vegeta's improvement and that he actually has surprised him a bit. Vegeta then repays his comment by decking the man directly in the face. Zarbon is in disbelief at the facial Vegeta just gave him and begins his best Chun-Li impression, letting off a flurry of lightning legs in Vegeta's direction. At this point, this is all still light work for Vegeta, who dodges all the attacks with ease and kicks Zarbon down to the ground. Shortly after this, the booty warrior once again appears right behind Zarbon and kicks him yet again, sending him flying as he eats some more Namekian soil. Vegeta then begins cackling like a complete menace, head in the air, mouth wide open, and 5 head exposed to the world, asking Zarbon if he has finally realized the difference in their strength. And here, folks, is one of the instances of what we're going to call the Vegeta Classic. Fans of the series know this one well. The Vegeta Classic happens when you are clearly stronger than your opponent and you have all but won the fight, but instead of finishing things off and taking your W, you talk trash, allow your opponent to power up, and then proceed to take an absolutely humiliating L. Bonus points if you start holding on to your left arm after you get mollywopped. Zarbon starts laughing because he knows this fight ain't over by a long shot. Zarbon cuts his eyes over to Vegeta and tells him that he has something special up his sleeve he wants to show him. Vegeta can't help himself, of course, and tells Zarbon to go ahead and make his day. In seconds, Zarbon begins rapidly transforming transforming, going from lovable Metro icon to bear mode in the blink of an eye. Vegeta doesn't even have time to admire the games before he's getting a train ran on him. Zarbon begins the party with a knee straight to Vegeta's sack, then he slaps the man on the ground, open-handed by the way, and proceeds to ragdoll him. Then he starts headbutting dude till he's leaking and damn near has tears in his eyes. I'm not even upset though, because if we're keeping it a buck, this is just karma from what he was doing to Gohan back on Earth. The two then proceed to exchange some punches, and the moment they separate, Zarbon comes charging again for yet another knee to the man's groin. That's how you know this beating was personal. Man went for a deliberate sack attack twice in under a minute. Then for a little razzle-dazzle, he hits Vegeta with the Heisman and knocks him through a mountain. At this point, Vegeta is on his knees and the King of Zest wouldn't have it any other way. No, I'm not talking about Drake, this is still about Zarbon. Zarbon continues his attack, closing in on Vegeta and then hits him with a nasty flip kick straight out of Virtua Fighter. Zarbon then attempts to wrap things up with a ki blast straight to Vegeta's chest. Vegeta manages to get out from under it at the last minute before he's blown to smithereens. Then, just because he was feeling petty, Zarbon uses his patented Vegeta technique. Let's say it in unison, folks. That's right, the Vegeta Energy Blast Volley. While it's hilarious watching Vegeta have to deal with his own medicine, it does absolutely zero work like usual, and the two exchange ki blasts before Zarbon yet again knees Vegeta in the crotch before putting him in a half Nelson and getting ready to snap his neck like a Kit Kat. Vegeta does everything he can to fight back, elbowing dude multiple times in the rib cage, causing Zarbon to let go temporarily. But this is short-lived because he follows up by grabbing the top of Vegeta's head, making him look like a real-life troll doll, and begins to slap the absolute taste out of this grown man's mouth like he's a $5 chump, and he's trying to make change. Then Zarbon double axe handles Vegeta, and we get this crazy fan service shot of the dude's ass, and I don't know what the animators are on in this fight, bro, but it is what it is. And as Vegeta begins plummeting to the earth, Zarbon looks to put him in checkmate by finishing him off with an Izuna drop, aka Izuna Otosh, aka Primary Lotus, aka one of the hardest moves in anime, period. The craziest part about this for me though was when Vegeta lands, it causes a crater and literally explodes. I was so confused, like how hard did this man get dogged that when he hit the surface of Namek, it caused an explosion and literal flames to erupt from the tectonic plate shifting in the bottom of the ocean? Zarbon watches below as the spot where Vegeta landed literally gets washed, and he heads back to Frieza without confirming the kill, just like his buddy Dodoria. It's crazy how being unable to sense energy and power levels put these fellas at such a crazy disadvantage, and it's honestly one of the big reasons why they bought the big one. While Vegeta is in search of a glass of milk, Krillin and Dende find the Elder Guru. When they arrive, they meet the homie Nail, and Krillin remarks on how Nail looks just like Piccolo. Yeah, okay, I see you, Krillin, that's what's up. All Namekian dudes look alike, right? Okay, so you, Tien, and Nappa are all related because y'all bald and can't fight? See, I get stereotype too, it don't feel too good, do it? Despite the microaggressions, Nail still takes him upstairs to meet the Guru. And I won't cap y'all, I wish I could meet Guru. Homie just has a calming presence, and his smile makes me smile. Bro places his hand on Krillin's cue ball, sees his intentions are pure, and gives him a Dragon Ball and unlocks homie's potential. Krillin is absolutely geeked at his newfound power and rushes off to grab Gohan after the Elder agrees to assist him as well. Zarbon returns to Frieza with no Dragon Ball, but news that he smoked Vegeta. Frieza listens but is skeptical and asks Zarbon if he confirmed the kill. Zarbon starts sweating bullets, telling Frieza that with how hard he hit that Primary Lotus, there's no way he made it. But Frieza's beginning to lose patience, telling Zarbon that he's sloppy and he should have jumped in that hole to confirm the chalk outline. Because of this, now they're sitting looking stupid with no Dragon Ball and a random monkey still on the loose for all they know. Frieza calls on Apu and tells him to ring the home planet and get a hold of the Ginyus, ordering them to come to Namek in 5 days. Zarbon got his mouth wide open, this time for a different reason than usual, telling Frieza that he don't need to do all that and he'll handle it. Frieza's like, bruh, I've been letting you handle it and look how things ended up. Frieza tells him that he's got an hour to find Vegeta in the balls, and Buddy heads out like somebody lit a fire under him. He returns to the hole he left Vegeta in and is looking mad stressed. Lucky for him, Vegeta was still laying there washed up on the shore. Zarbon breathes a sigh of relief, picks Vegeta up, and prepares to take him to the nearest rejuvenation chamber so he can heal up and be tortured for the location of the remaining Dragon Balls. I'm sure y'all can already tell how this movie ends. Zarbon takes Vegeta to the rejuvenation chamber. Apu watches from the outside, roasting Vegeta until he gets jump scared when Vegeta opens up an eyeball and unleashes pure chaos upon Frieza's ship, lighting that place up like a Daft Punk concert. Apu gets smoked in the ensuing explosion, and this is when Vegeta starts to get devious. Rather than running headlong into a fight with Frieza and Zarbon like I low-key thought he would, dude uses his brain and hatches a plan to steal the balls from Frieza's throne room by causing a distraction in one section of the ship so he can hit his lick in the other. Vegeta goes Peyton Manning on the balls and chucks him out the window for him to grab later, then escapes underwater on some pure Rambo energy. At this point, Frieza is livid and tells Zarbon if he does not get out there, find Vegeta, and correct this mess by the time his soap operas get off TV, Porunga won't even be able to undo the damage he's about to go through. Moving faster than he ever has in his life, Zarbon rushes out of Frieza's ship in a desperate search for Vegeta. Meanwhile, Vegeta realizes he might actually have a career in American football because the balls landed literally feet away from one another after he chucked them out the ship. Vegeta then catches wind of an energy signal flying somewhere nearby. Thinking this could be the final Dragon Ball he's looking for, he sets off. Krillin then finally arrives at Bulma, and Gohan's hideout. Bulma informs Krillin that Gohan just went out in search of a nearby Dragon Ball shortly before he arrived. Krillin gets Bulma up to speed on the meeting that he had with Elder Guru and his desire to introduce them, but before he can get too deep into things, who else rolls up on the doorstep but Bulma's future spouse-to-be? Vegeta wastes no time. He begins ball-shaming Krillin and demanding the Dragon Ball, telling him that he is not above putting hands on the Earth Girl either if he tries anything cute. Krillin, realizing he's boned 6 ways to Sunday, starts sweating profusely, but before Vegeta can finish off his villainous monologue, who else shows up but the zest god himself, Zarbon. Bulma immediately begins thirsting over dude, and I can't lie, this kind of brought out the inner future in me a little bit. The whole time Bulma's out here acting like she was so heartbroken when Yamcha called his fade by that Cyberman. Over here breaking down in tears damn near constantly, inconsolable, telling lifelong friends that she would rather have seen them dead than him. Then in just a few months, she rolls up on an alien planet, takes one glimpse of some Zarbussy, and starts forgetting all about old Yamcha. You hate to see it. I know old boy is rolling around in shambles on King Kai's planet right now. Street behavior if I've ever seen it. But Zarbon shut that ish down immediately, not even looking old girl's direction when he told Vegeta he has no interest in Earthlings. Zarbon commands Vegeta to either tell him the location of the Dragon Balls or Frieza directly, and this will all be over. After getting this most recent Zenkai boost, nobody can tell Vegeta nothing. Vegeta lets his nuts hang and tells Zarbon if he wants the Dragon Ball so bad he's gonna have to get them. Zarbon chuckles to himself because he knew this was coming. Vegeta tells him he better go bear mode again though, because Zesty Zarbon stands no chance of getting the job done. Vegeta's arrogance really set Zarbon off here, and he flies towards Vegeta back on his Chun-Li timing with the kicks, but the prince dodges easily. Vegeta hops in the air and does his favorite thing. No, I don't mean lose and hold his arm. I'm talking about the signature technique, the energy blast volley. And this move is so ass. Even when Zarbon is this close by, he just slightly moves his torso and is able to weave his way through the attack. My favorite part though is what he did after shooting the ki blast. He does this goofy looking chop or open-handed slap that hits Vegeta square in the cheek and leaves him shook for a minute. If I'm Vegeta, I'm reacting the same way. Being in a fight with another grown man for your actual life and getting met with a karate chop is just devastating in a number of ways. As if the vent is concerned, Vegeta curb stomps Zarbon to the ground, and this is where Buddy finally decided to get serious and bring out Shrek. Vegeta fires off his trademark once again. Zarbon weaves through it like light work even as a big body. He then tosses Vegeta in the air like some pizza dough and shoots a ki blast, but Vegeta manages to react in time, make his way to the ground, grab some Namekian soil, and dodge right before having his face flattened. Vegeta then hops in the air and hits Swamp Thing with the King of the Hill special, some good old pocket sand. Zarbon is then blinded for a moment, and while he can't see, Vegeta hits with an absolutely nasty back shot, piercing his armor. Vegeta then knocks Buddy into the water, hits his trademark, and Buddy emerges from the water because we all know that there was no chance that last attack ended the fight. Vegeta then begins popping off at the mouth about the near-death power-up Saiyans get and how Zarbon at this point is cooked. He refuses to accept this though, and the two trade punches for a brief moment until Vegeta decides to take us to the climax by fisting Zarbon deep in his guts. Zarbon begins begging for his life, attempting to bargain with Vegeta and telling him that he will help him fight against Frieza if he spares his life. But as we are all aware of from our readings from the DBZ handbook, if you attempt to bargain with your opponent for your life, you already lost. Vegeta, deciding he's had enough of being inside Zarbon's guts, decides to finish, shooting a load inside Zarbon and sending him floating into the Namekian atmosphere. With Zarbon going, Vegeta takes a Dragon Ball he robbed off Krillin and begins fantasizing about his future immortality. The last hope can be seen in young Gohan, who's carrying the last remaining Dragon Ball in hopes of keeping it out of Vegeta's vile clutches. And this, my friends, is where we will end it for today. What a wild-ass experience this Zarbon versus Vegeta turned out to be. Much as I clown Zarbon, I mess with his design heavy, and his interactions with both Vegeta and Frieza were some of the highlights of this earlier part of the Namek arc. I hope y'all are hyped, because next chapter sees the introduction of the world-famous Ginyu Force, and you're not going to want to miss it. Be easy, everybody, and I'll talk to you in the next video.